Hello? Uh, yes, it's me, yes. Listen, please don't freak out or anything, but I've noticed you standing outside the building well, for a while now. Most nights. I think you were here the first night I even got here, which is sort of... Yes, I'm sure it was on a lot of those sites, but listen, it's... Well, it is raining pretty hard right now, and I looked outside a minute ago and I saw you still standing out there in the dark, so I thought... Would you like to come in? I can make you some tea or coffee or something. At least you're getting out of this downpour. You're not, you're not going to kill me or anything, right? That's a no, then. Wonderful. Well, welcome to my apartment. My apartment for another 3 weeks. The studio offered to put me up in a nicer place, but something like this is more comfortable for me. I think my manager nearly exploded when I told him to turn that place down, though. God, I'll ask for even worse accommodations next time. He could use more stress in his life. Hmm? Oh, no, I'm not sure I'd agree with you there. I don't know if it's really a sign that I'm humble. I don't feel very humble about it. I just hate all those places people seem to think are so fashionable and high-end. I mean, last time they put me in a place like this was when I was in London for some reshoots. Expensive place, to be sure. Great location, if you're into the posh nightlife too, but those places aren't made to be lived in. They're made to be looked at. The entire month they put me up there, I felt like I was imprisoned in some gaudy, cooked-out hench-fudge manager's idea of abstract painting. But listen to me going on about myself. Not very humble of me, is it? Tea or coffee? I'll just start boiling some water and you can decide later then, yeah? Oh, here. Let me go grab you a towel so you can start to dry off. Sorry if I'm not being the best host. I don't tend to get much company, so I'm still figuring some of these things out. Sit anywhere you'd like. So, I suppose you already know all about me. Tell me more about yourself then. Oh, and yeah, I did manage to guess that, I'd say. I think it would take my biggest fan to stand outside my apartment for so long. Are you from around here? Is that why you've been stalking out my place? Oh, really? You've been following this production since we were filming in San Francisco. That's clear on the other side of the country. Why this production? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It is my first big romance in a few years. The book it's based on is supposed to be quite a book, I've heard. Very romantic, I'm told. Well, I don't know. I don't know that I'd say I was avoiding... I don't think I would say I was avoiding making more romance movies. I mean, I was in that superhero film last year. There was a romantic subplot in it, I think. Yeah, it did feel a little bit like one doorpost romancing one another, didn't it? God, I had no idea what I was even doing half the time when we were filming that. Not a new feeling for me, granted, but I've never felt that way, surrounded by so much green. Well, I took this one on because I like working with this director. She's quite good at walking me through the emotional parts of scenes, which I really like. Honestly, I'm hoping some of whatever she's got rubs off on me this time. I'm always making a mess of emotional. I'm always making a mess of emotionality in my own life. I walk off set and I feel nothing. Oh, yeah, that breakup. That was very public, wasn't it? God, I was practically bulging the tabloids myself just to find out what was going to happen next. Did I say bulging? I meant buying. See, the weather is getting to me too. I'm sorry. Can I tell you a secret about this, though? She and I were only ever in the same room about 5 times. 6 if you count that time we were photographed while walking down a sidewalk together. No, I'm not joking at all. I barely know her. I learned more about her in the week after we broke up than I ever knew about her when we were, together. It was kind of a publicity thing, really. I still don't know which of us thought we needed that publicity, but we stretched that out into the 7-month relationship we had in the end. Oh God, I remember reading that I was supposedly trying to learn her ring size, like I was about to propose, and I was just sitting here thinking, I just spent the entire last 2 weeks thinking this poor woman's name was something completely different than it actually is, and everyone thinks I'm about to pull off the grandest romantic gesture in the century. Good times. Yeah, sorry to maybe shatter your illusion. That relationship, that romance, was never really real. Very little about me is, honestly. Everyone always sees me. You see me this way, I can tell. They see me as this great romantic, this lover with a bleeding heart. But it's like, I'm about as much that guy as I was a superhero who can use space magic to fly. Yeah, I've heard that. People say that they see it in my eyes. They see all the romance there, and it's just like, look, I'm very sorry, but what you're seeing is light reflecting off my iris. I've looked in my own eyes in the mirror. They're dead inside, like the rest of me. Yeah, that line was very moving. I'm glad you really felt the conviction my character put into this line. You have oh, there it is. A tattoo of the line right below my ribs. A tattoo of the line right below your ribs. Fantastic. Wonderful work there. I'm sure that whoever wrote that line would feel very honored to know you did that. Yeah, I think that script was nominated for an Oscar that year. Or maybe a Golden Globe. A BAFTA? Very iconic lines in any case. To be to be perfectly honest, I actually tried to use a line from an earlier draft once in real life. No, really. I I was on this date once, and it was a first date, I think. I didn't actually have many second dates. I don't have many first dates either, really. But I was out at this, like, five-star restaurant with this woman. Beautiful woman, I think she probably was. Is, but she was. It seemed to be going great, and she was actually quite excellent at trying to see me as a person and not just a celebrity. Nothing against you, by the way, which is more than I could really ask for. But she was telling me so much about myself. But she was telling me so much about herself, which was marvelous. I love getting to know people, and eventually she starts trying to ask me about myself, and I'm just coming up with nothing. Like, I just start feeling like an absolute black hole of a person. She asks about my oldest friends. She has like 3 great close friends she's known since grade school, and I'm like mentally trying to think of a contact I have in my phone that lists a name before a job title. So I start to panic, and I just invert some friend named Greg that I've supposedly known since we met at a theater camp sometime in middle school. And it just nosedives from here. I just lose the ability to tell this woman the truth. And I'm making up all sorts of lies about myself, my friends, and my family just to try to feel close to this woman so she doesn't think I'm some kind of reclusive psycho or something. And towards the end of the dinner, I remember this line from an earlier draft of that script, and basically out of nowhere, I think I might have even interrupted her. I take her hand in mine on the table, look her in the eye, and I say, "Our souls will always find each other in the next life like in every other before." Which is like... oh my god, I don't even know what that means, and she's just looking at me, and I realize that I'm holding her hand just way too hard. And I feel like I just punctured every other lie I told leading up to this point, and I realize I've just completely blown this. Like, even if she could get past that, and we had a lovely rest of the night, we could go on to have a beautiful decades-long relationship, and still one day it would fall apart. There's just no recovery from that. So I put down all of my cash on the table. I apologize to this woman. I tell her she's a lovely person. I tell her to forgive me because I've actually spent the whole evening trying to get into character from an upcoming audition to play the serial killer, and I leave. I don't think I've ever really told anyone that story. And of course that was my last real date, and that was years ago. I'm actually terribly lonely. It's hard to tell what's real sometimes, you know. I think that's why I love acting. I know it's not real, but I get to pretend all of it is. There's always a line waiting to be said, always another scene planned out, always that safety net of knowing it's just for the camera. Nobody lies to me in a scene, they just say their lines. Oh, water is ready. So, tea or coffee? Oh, yes. I suppose it's getting pretty late. It's still pouring outside. You could stay here if you'd like. You can even sleep in my bed with me. Need to be getting back? Yes, right. Wouldn't want anyone at your hotel to worry. I'll see you tomorrow then, I suppose. Oh, I'll just see you whenever I see you, then. Take care of yourself. Maybe stop standing out in the rain for strangers, yeah? Well, they're gone. It's a very good thing that I'm such a talented actor. Otherwise, none of that would have felt very real at all. No, not at all. A special thanks goes out to Pandora Hearts and Seth, as well as all the other Patreons who have decided to support me even further on my journey. Thank you, and rest well.